I had a person who attended a seminar recently ask me, how can I close more sales? Well, I asked her a few questions, and I'd like to share with you what we discovered. Stay tuned. So this seminar was for people who want to become executive and leadership coaches. Not my typical sales audience. However, many coaches do not have salespeople that represent them with prospects. They have to sell their coaching services to prospects on their own, which means they have to be a salesperson and a great coach to get the business. Well, most coaches have never had sales training, so they don't really understand how to close sales. So the question was a natural one. But I wanted to understand what might be at the heart of the problems this coach was facing. And this might be instructive for you too if you're having some challenges and anxiety around why you're not closing more sales. So first, their question was, how many sales should I typically be closing? What percentage? And I said, for me, typical percentage would be somewhere between 40 and 60%. There have been times where I've done worse and times where I've done better, but it generally kind of averages out to somewhere around there. Because people that aren't in sales regularly sometimes have an inflated view of how many sales they should be closing. So let's keep that in mind. Second, I said, what do you do when it gets to the time of the conversation when your prospective coaching client needs to make a decision? And they said, well, I ask them if they need any more information, if they have any other questions, and I let them know that I'll be available if they would like to learn more or ask any other questions, get any other information. I'm here. That's not a good way to close a sale. You know that, right? They didn't, but you should know that when you're in a sales capacity, regardless of whether you're a coach, a web designer, a florist, or a titled salesperson, such as account manager, sales representative, what have you, you need to be having an intentional conversation that all the way through the process with the prospect, you're leading to the decision point. The decision point is when they need to decide if they're going to go forward or not with your solution. And that's true for this coach as well. So instead of what they say, I'm here if you need more information, let me know how I can help. Instead, they should ask for a decision. Would you like to go forward with me as your coach? When would you like to get started? Or would you like to start soon? Asking them to decide if they want to go forward with a coaching, not being just open and receptive to whatever might happen next. You see, there's something you need to understand about this person that asked me the question. They did a personality assessment for me, and it turns out that they are what you call highly agreeable. Highly agreeable is someone who is very accommodative, meaning that they really care about the other person and want to serve the other person well and not really pressure them. Instead, they're generally agreeable with what the other person would like to do. So if the other person says, I'm not sure, I need to think about it, this highly agreeable person would be likely to say, sure, of course, take all the time that you need. That seems like a very accommodating stance, but we don't want that in sales. We don't want to say, take all the time that you need, because that means it's not important that you make a decision at all. All the time that you need might be the next 6 months. And then what am I going to do? Follow up every week for the next 6 months? No, we want them to make a decision. So if they say, I need some time to think about it, you would say, great. What are you going to think about? Do you need more information? Do you need to talk to someone else? And how long might that take? When should we meet again to make a decision about going forward? See, that might feel pushy to put someone on the spot by asking them how much time they need, what information do they need to get, what are they actually going to think about, and when should we meet again? But that tells the other person that you are intentional, that you are at a decision point, and this person needs to take this conversation seriously. I hope all of this makes sense to you and is just a reinforcement of what you already know. The other thing that I told this person, which is very important is you should be talking to someone who is qualified to make a decision. Do they have the budget? Do they have the authority? In coaching conversations, often you're talking with the person who does have the authority and the decision to make, but not necessarily the budget. So that's something that you may want to float out in the conversation early on in case they're totally off base with what professional coaching costs, so they don't use up a lot of your time only to be shocked at the end and realize that they definitely don't have the means. Is that the case with you? Do you sell a fairly pricey solution in the marketplace that is generally priced higher than the competition? If that's the case, then you may want to seed that earlier in the competition and earlier in the conversation and explain to your prospect that while we have what might be the highest price solution in the market, I'd like to share a few reasons why that's so that they already know that you're not heading towards a low-priced value buy for them. I hope this conversation helps you if closing is sometimes difficult for you. The sale won't close itself, most likely. If you're talking to a qualified prospect and they're legitimately interested in a solution and making a decision, then it should feel natural to them that you're pushing them, not hard, but firmly and clearly to make a decision, either today or very soon thereafter. So keep that in mind. If you have further questions about closing deals, post them below or send me an email at michael@buildandbalance.com, and I may answer them in a future video or any other questions you have about sales in general. If you'd like to learn more about my sales coaching and training solutions, visit my website, buildandbalance.com. And also know that we have a new on-demand sales training program that you can invest in for much less than what it would cost to work with me personally, either individually or with your team. So consider that as a viable alternative. And of course, if you haven't already subscribed to the channel, please subscribe, like the video, comment on it, and share it with others so this information can get shared to a wider universe of people who are new to sales. Best wishes to you.